Bhagalpur, earlier called Champanagari, is a well-known city in the state of Bihar in India. Thanks to the efforts of naturalists like Arvind Mishra, Mrinal Kaushik and others, it is rapidly coming up as a prominent birding destination. It is next to two major rivers, Ganga and Koshi, which flood the areas during monsoon. These floodplains partly dry up post-monsoon, leading to many wetlands, which are excellent habitats for waders, ducks, storks and other birds. One such area is Sonwarsha Ghatora, which I am covering in this video. I call Bhagalpur Storkland as we get to see 7 species of storks here, in which 6 storks breed here: Asian open-billed stork, painted stork, Asian woolly-necked stork, black-necked stork, lesser adjutant stork and greater adjutant stork. Occasionally, black stork is also seen here. I must confess, I did not know this before my trip to Bhagalpur. I went there for greater adjutant stork and was hugely surprised to see thousands of waders, ducks and so many other species. If you have not been to Bhagalpur yet, contact Mrinal Kaushik and plan your trip at the earliest. Check his interview in this channel for more details. We reached Bhagalpur early morning by train. Bhagalpur station is a junction and is very well connected to many major cities. There are a lot of good food stalls in nearby Chowk where we had a good breakfast. Mrinal arranged a local hotel where we briefly stopped to get fresh and then started our journey through the Bhagalpur city. We picked up a crate of water bottles on the way. Also, do not miss the hot tea on a roadside tea stall. It was Mrinal's favorite and we loved the tea and different types of biscuits there. On our way, we crossed Ganga river. Bikramshila Mahavir was close to Bhagalpur and one of the bridges was named after it. If you have time, I suggest you visit the Bikramshila ruins to witness the rich history of the culture we had. Looking outside, it was evident we were passing through Ganga floodplains. We noticed several water bodies, wetlands and marshlands around. After around 40 minutes drive, we took a concrete road on the left. On the left side of the road, there was a series of water bodies and I'm sure if given time, we could have found many birds there, but we continued our drive. We went through a village and cultivation area. The floodplains are fertile and excellent for crop production. Suddenly, we noticed a white-eyed buzzard on the left. We got down from the car and took some pictures and videos. It was a brave bird and was unperturbed by our presence. It flew after we got inside the car and engine started. Through windows, I could take a few flight shots. However, maybe alarmed by the presence of buzzard, a greater cuckoo also took off. It is a common bird and seen in most parts of India, including my neighborhood throughout the year. But with green background, I could get some clear flight shots of the bird showing its various wing positions. After another 10 minutes, the concrete road ended, leading it to a mud road through harvesting fields. A tree full of egrets indicated good food supply around. We crossed a narrow water channel where we saw a white bird, which was none other than the white wagtail. It saw a mussel from far and walked towards it with an anticipation of good meal. soon to find someone already devoured it and dejected as it should be, walked past the empty shells. We then saw another black and white bird flying around. It was far and we could not focus initially. As it landed near the shore, we found it to be a pied kingfisher. Soon it was joined by another one. We also saw another pair on the other side of the channel. This channel must be rich in fish to feed 4 hungry pied kingfishers. This place is also full of great-throated martins, but more about that during our return trip. After a short walk, we arrived at the water body. We were greeted by a flock of grey-lag goose. We slowly walked towards the water body. A fishing boat is anchored there. I'm sure good landscape photographers could have taken some nice artistic pictures with the boat as primary object. But all I could do was this. Nearby saw the first stork of the day, the commoner, an Asian open-billed stork, which was standing there like a statue. Felt a video would be almost the same as the picture, except the ripples on the background water. However, the gadwalls were highly active in picking up food from underwater. On the deeper side of the water body, there were many other ducks, with red-crested poacher drawing the attention due to its colored head. On the corner of the water body, there was a huge congregation of cormorants. We saw all 3 kinds of cormorants there, great, Indian and little. They were busy resting and preening, guess after some productive early morning activity and good food. The blackbirds shining on the morning sun were really looking great with green background decorated by patches of yellow flowers. Suddenly, one bird flew, and out of a sudden, as it happened so often in the wild, a large flock of ducks also took off. I tried a panning video of a black-headed ibis, trying my best to keep it in the center, but it had no impact on cormorants, and they kept doing what they were doing all along. Mrinal reminded us we were getting late for the Stonechats, which were active more on the early morning. Hence we continued our journey on the mud road. Stonechats were seen on the edge of the water body, and it was a long walk. There was a bullock cart going in front of us. Initially, we wanted to keep pace with it, and it was fun, but soon realized the dust it was splashing in the air was not good for the camera, so we slowed down. A large flying bird stopped our walk. It was an osprey. It was hovering over the water body in search of a catch. Since we stopped, we wanted to check the nearby water body also. On the shallow water near the land, a lone black-winged stilt was looking for food, but in a very slow walk. However, next to it was a black-tailed godwit, which was highly active in foraging. A bit far, on a larger water body, A large number of godwits were accompanied by visibly larger grey-lag goose and many small ducks. They were all active and enjoying some nice breakfast. I must say, Sonwarsha Ghatora covers a very large area with multiple water bodies. Just one circular round around it might take a whole day. If someone wants to cover all species, he must plan 1 to 2 days here. However, our entire trip was 2 days and we needed to cover 4-5 other places in Bhagalpur. All we could spend in Sonwarsha Ghatora was the morning session. We could still see 75 species of birds there, which speaks how rich the area is. Among ducks, we saw grey-lag goose, ruddy shelduck, northern shobbler, Eurasian pigeon, northern pintail, green-winged teal, red-crested pochard, ferruginous duck, little gravy, ruff, Eurasian coot and gadwall. Among other waders, we saw Eurasian curlew, black-tailed godwit, spotted redshank, common sandpiper, wood sandpiper, little ringed plover, little stint, common sandpiper and wood sandpiper. With so many birds and so large an area, I wondered if there was a greater or lesser white-fronted duck somewhere we might not even know. This place deserved more birder visits and careful inspection, especially with a spotting scope. The reflection of this egret on moderately calm water lured me to take this video. Might be common, but looked so fresh in white colors. Mrinal reminded us again that we were getting late for Stonechats. We saw the lesser adjutant start, but decided to move on. A dark morph of oriental honey buzzard was flying overhead, but we let that go as well. Finally, we arrived at the habitat of Stonechats, what you see now, a low-lying bush and vegetation next to the water body. The habitat was shared by delicate prinia and striated babbler, as their continuous calls told us. While there was a large flock of striated babbler there, but just one came out and gave us some show. There was a large patch of white flowers adjacent, and we were hoping if it would come to that area so that we could get a great picture with the flowers. However, it was clearly not its habitat and it stayed within the tall grass and bush. I walked past the area with my GoPro hanging low to capture this view. Right next was a stretch with these yellow flowers. Mrinal said we reached the white-tailed Stonechat habitat. I was hoping to get the bird on these flowery bushes. What you see is the area where we saw at least 3 pairs of white-tailed Stonechats. I have made a dedicated video on white-tailed Stonechat of Bhagalpur and hence not covering it much in this video, requesting viewers to watch that video for full coverage. In the same habitat, we also get to see delicate prinia. Its call will draw your attention and it often comes on top, calling thereby giving you a nice photo opportunity. We felt we might find some larks in this area, which was mostly bare and not covered with vegetation. We saw a Bengal bush lark only. There was also a paddy-filled pipit pair nearby. Somehow, I felt one of them was larger than the other, but it just might be an optical illusion. In Bengal, we go to a place called Chupi near Purbostholi in Purva Bardhaman, where on an oxbow lake on Ganga, large numbers of red-crested pochards come every winter. Here in Bhagalpur, in some unknown corner, I saw a greater number of the same bird. We didn't realize how time flied, and the sun rose to the top. It was time to leave the Stonechat area and go to the other extreme side of the hotspot. I must say, the greens around were very good for eye, with or without the bird. Sonwarsha Ghatora covers a huge area, and I wonder with time how many more species we will see here. My attention was suddenly drawn towards the sky. That dark morph of oriental honey buzzard we saw on our way was still flying around. And it was not alone. The osprey soon joined it. I have never seen ospreys hunting ducks or other birds. It is generally seen eating fish only. However, down on the water body, we could see a clear sense of alarm and alertness as they considered these two birds as raptors and were ready to fly away if needed. But nothing of that sort happened, and eventually everything settled down again. We saw a flock of open-billed storks, and like the first one we saw in the morning, these were also stand still like a statue. But not all storks were like that. The lesser adjutant stork we saw earlier was actively searching for food. I must say, when you saw it from far, we were excited, thinking it might be greater adjutant, which was also seen in this area. But it was not. Nevertheless, it gave some good shots to us in bright light. What's more, it caught a fish and I could capture the entire sequence. With that, it was time to say goodbye to this side of the Sonwarsha Ghatora hotspot. I must say, I was addicted to these yellow and white flowers. Hence, spent a few more minutes taking one last video of them. We followed a small channel and went to a new direction. I felt behind in taking the videos and had to hurry. Suddenly, Mrinal went inside the thick grass. He spotted a black-necked stork. I was initially a bit worried if there could be snake in that area, as I couldn't see where I was stepping onto. But Mrinal assured nothing to worry. At least, not from the snakes. But he couldn't say the same for the buffaloes, which we needed to cross from close range. One of them kind of charged, and we were saved as it was tied to a pole. We arrived at a vast open area with water on one side and soft muddy ground with low grass on the rest. Needed to make careful steps, as stepping on soft ground would make our feet sink to ankle level in the soft mud. It was deceptive, as the mud had a thin layer of dried surface which made it look like hard ground, but it was not. We followed Mrinal as he continued to walk. After some time, he pointed to a tractor track which we followed. Here is what it looks like from close to ground. The first bird we saw was a black-headed ibis, which was busy searching food even this late in the day. Close by, a wood sandpiper was equally active. Soon, it started swimming or swim walk, if I may call it. A godwit was also busy, since it was lunchtime for them. Open-bill storks were also flying above, looking for best place to feed. We finally found the black-necked stork that Mrinal spotted earlier. I have made a dedicated video on this bird as seen in Bhagalpur and hence didn't cover it in this video. Please check that video for full coverage. In the same place, we also saw an osprey on a pole looking down for a catch. I saw several great videos of Mark Smith of osprey diving in the water and pulling a large fish out. Was hoping if it was my moment. However, the osprey kept staring down but didn't find anything worth jumping. After some wait, we gave up and moved on. Here also we saw a large number of ducks with red-crested pochard again leading the pack, but there are other varieties as well. On the land, we saw a flock of Pacific golden plover and a few ruffs foraging on ground, but they started moving away from us. Nearby, there is a very large flock of black-tailed godwits which were flying away as the black-necked stork was approaching them. I covered this story in details in the black-necked stork video mentioned earlier. Other ducks also were flying similarly like the red-crested poacher in this video. With good light, it was excellent to observe these birds from moderate range. I even took a series of pictures of the poachers flapping its wings. I also took many portrait shots of different ducks like this gadwal. Had a temporary excitement once more by seeing a lesser adjutant stork flying and hoping it might be greater. It was now time to return. Light was harsh and due to heat wave, it was getting tough to get a sharp image on the far. We followed the pathway next to the water channel. We went past another water body but didn't find any birds there. It was near noon and most birds moved away. As we approached the bridge over the channel, we saw a white-eyed buzzard standing over a water pump. We approached it slowly. Since it was mostly looking on the other side, it was easier for us to get close. Not sure if it was the same bird we saw in the morning or a different one. We took some good snaps before it flew away. We arrived at the place we started our birding in the morning. Kingfishers were gone. There was a spotted owlet, but it didn't come out of the holes. However, great-throated martins were still flying around. With bright light, I could bump up the shutter and took hundreds of pictures. It was a good decision to skip it in the morning as light was less then. It had nests nearby on the mud wall and was coming back to those holes periodically. With this, we closed the session with cart full of bird pictures and videos. We spent 4.5 hours in the area, walked over 6 kilometers and saw 75 birds. Based on my experience, I will strongly recommend Sonwarsha Ghatora hotspot of Bhagalpur to all birders. I am publishing several videos covering other birds and birding hotspots of Bhagalpur, which you can find in the Bhagalpur playlist in this channel. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for notification for future videos. Thanks for watching.